notice this expression test schemata. That's not how we refer to schema or schemata.
Yeah.
We don't test it, we activate it. So that's just delta jargon again. Because
Well,
the idea,
activate it.
yeah, we activate it because the idea is that these learners are not Martians. They're not UFOs. They live on Earth. They are humans. They have the same lives pretty much for the most part as we do. So and they're adults. So they're not learning this is how adult language learning is different from childhood language acquisition, that children are learning the concepts of the world around them, and they're learning language at the same time. But adults already have a concept of the world and many things in it. So we just want to activate their schemata of those things to be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking I wanted to know what they already knew for
So
my purposes.
yeah, those are two different aims, and they tend to happen in the lead-in stage. You're so right about that. So you want to generate interest, you want to activate their schemata, and for your own teaching purposes, you want to test what they already know about which items or how much of the target language they already know. Those are two different aims here. It's
Okay.
just important not to mix them because that's not standard. And then, yeah, so just generally vague language or generic language like provide input and help students notice featured grammar is not going to cut it on the delta, because we would have needed more detail on exactly what's happening in this procedure box. And okay, provide input on what? Help notice grammar features, which features exactly? Which is why we, on the delta, before you write the lesson plan, you have to have a language analysis section, if you saw my lesson plan. So first you think carefully about the features of your target language, and then it's going to be much easier to then teach it if you've thought about their meaning, form, pronunciation, and verb. In this case, by the way, because this is adverbs of frequency, another key issue with form, other than the usual suspects of spelling or compounds, and how here I think word order in the sentence would have been, as in the four items we picked, except for sometimes, which can sometimes come at the very beginning of the sentence, but all of them come between the subject and the predicate. So I never play video games. I always take the dog out in the morning. I sometimes do this and that. So that would, if you go through the language analysis stage of the planning, then you will remember to include it in your lesson plan as well, which is why the delta insists that you do this language analysis, that you write it down, and then that's how it becomes a 6,000 word long thing. Because otherwise, honestly, I forgot about it. I typed up this feedback for you, and I forgot that. Wait a minute, what's our target language here? What's the form? What are the salient or important issues around form to do with this target language? And I forgot that word order is key, because I hadn't kind of done my language analysis yesterday while taking a shower. So you see how it's connected.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So the more detailed, the better. But if you haven't done the language analysis, if you then haven't written the procedure in a very detailed fashion, of course you're not going to be able to be super detailed in the aims bit. Of course you'll have to just say something generic, and so this is how we have to build it up from the ground up. We start with thinking carefully about what is my target language, what's the scope, how many items, how will I clarify it. And then